Hello, this is Brett with WIPDeveloper.com. When working with the Salesforce DX project, sometimes it can be a little tedious to constantly be opening up the command palette to push your changes to your Scratch org. Right now, it's the topmost option on my recently used commands, but if I were to have recently opened a default org or created another component or an Apex class, it would have moved down, and if I was in the habit of opening up the command palette and pressing enter to push, I would have started creating a new component or Apex class or opening the default org, which isn't what I would necessarily want to do. I would like to minimize the number of steps necessary to push my changes to the Scratch org. Visual Studio Code has the concept of a build command. This is because other development platforms like .NET actually build and compile on the development machine, and you can run that code. Since we're Salesforce devs, we don't really build it, but what we want to do is use the same command, which on Mac is Command-Shift-B, or on Windows, which is Control-Shift-B, I believe, to use the build command to push our changes to the Scratch org. So let's give it a shot right now. I do Command-Shift-B. It says, no build task to run found. Configure a build task. Sounds like a good idea. We should configure one now. Since I don't have a task.json file in my VSCode folder, I'm going to create one from the template. I don't need to use MS Build or Maven or .NET Core, so I will choose the other template, which would just come up with the default, like this would be the kind of commands or tasks that you can execute that would also be able to be executed on the command line. Right now it has a label of echo, the type of shell, which means it's a shell command, or it operates in the terminal, and then the command. So this one says echo hello. If we run the echo command, what it'll do is print out hello to the command line. Before we run this, let's change the name to push. I'm going to save that. Now if I try the build command, it'll say no build task found, configure a build task. And it gives you an option of the tasks you have available. Since we changed the label to push, push is one of the options. Let's choose that. That added in our task.json file a group and of kind build, and the default is set to true. Now we can run the build, and in the output for the task, it says hello, and then it says it was done, and this terminal will be reused with other tasks in the future. Printing hello to the terminal doesn't really do us what we need. What we're going to need to do is change the command from echo hello to SFDX force source push. That's SFDX force source push. We can save that, and what that'll do is it'll push our changes to the default org that we have assigned. Now when we run the build command, since I had no changes, nothing was pushed, but you can see it executed SFDX force source push, and we have the results of that, which is no changes found. If we were to change something, like this first component I have, now I've added something to the HTML of this first component. I can build it and wait a moment, and then it says the first component HTML was changed and pushed. So there you have it. This should make it a little easier to deploy changes without having to go through the command palette every single time. Remember a quick keyboard shortcut and you're there. That's all for now. Remember to sign up for the weekly stand-up, and you can get updated with any new information on the WIPDeveloper.com.